legal enforcement in today's China. So if you have not watched it, just watch it. And nevertheless, there exist also certain problems of class action in China, and this is mainly, there's only recently a new tendency in China, and this tendency is to issue regulations which curb the possibility of class actions. And so, for instance, there exists an environmental regulation and also regulations regarding lawyers that set higher legal prerequisite for filing class actions. And the reason is actually very clear. It's that the CCP fears such class action because they could become an independent factor. So a factor about what the CCP loses its control, and it's no more steerable by the party, and so such class actions are curbed. And yes, as I just told you, another issue that has to do with such a possibility of becoming an independent issue is, of course, the huge amount of media coverage that is also very important with respect to such class actions. And my last slide right now with respect to content is something like a lack of law, so a legal gap, at least that's only my opinion, and that is that there is not yet a single environmental liability law, ILL, like the German ILL, Umwelthaftungsgesetz, Umwelt-HG, existing in today's China, and I personally think that, at least with respect to the legal basis, this would mean a further next step to environmental protection, legal protection in today's China, if such a law would be issued. Okay, so my last two pages are about a short look about the literature. So let's have first a look at the primary sources, so the laws. We have in the paragraphs 338 to 346 of the criminal law stipulations about criminal liability. And yes, then this new tort law, the stipulations, only 4 articles, only 4 paragraphs, 65 to 68, and of course other regulations, like for instance the respective paragraphs in the general principles of the civil law. In German it's abbreviated as AGZ, Allgemeine Grundsätze des Zivilrechts, in Chinese, and it's issued in 86. Or also, for instance, the respective administrative liability regulations, which I have not added here. Yes, just look them up in the literature if you want. And with respect to secondary sources, I have, among others, mainly used the article of Dieker, here once more to show you, and this good book of Robert Häuser and Jan de Graaf, edited in 2001. And yes, there's also an article of Häuser himself, and here I've added these pages of 55 to 63, in which he writes about these 3 different liability regimes, so the administrative liability regimes, and he also gives more detailed information. He has written about a few cases and so on. So first about administrative liability, civil liability, and finally criminal liability. Yes, just read it if you want to know more. And finally this short 2 pages, only 2 pages article of Gautier of 2009, this is wrong here, it's of 2009, about the draft tort law, which at that time, at the end of 2009, was available for public comment. And yes, just check it out under this email, under this URL address if you want. And yes, just check the literature if you want. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've learned something new or have at least refreshed your knowledge, and see you next time.